Okay, can you all hear me? I was a Janet Jackson fan, so I'm feeling real enthused. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وصوركم فأحسن صوركم ورزقكم من الطيبات لعلكم تشكرون وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله خلقكم من تراب ثم إذا أنتم بشر تنتشرون وأشهد أن محمد عبده ورسوله من أقتدي بحديه نال الحوض المصون اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله صحبه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم يبعثون أما بعد فيا عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي أول بتقوى الله تعالى وطاعته. I greet you with the peace and blessings of Assalamu alaikum. And that is to say, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, all praise is due to Allah who created you all from one soul and fashioned you in the most excellent forms and provided for you from the good things that perhaps ye may give thanks. I witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah who created you from dust. Then you were men scattered far and wide. I witness that our leader Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant, his messenger, that whomever imitate his guidance, they receive a portion of the rewards. O Allah, the prayers and peace be upon the Prophet Muhammad, his family, and his companions, and those who followed them with excellence until the day that they are resurrected. And what follows thereafter, then, O servants of Allah, I advise you, as well as I advise myself, to first have regard, taqwa for Allah Most High, and obey Him. Once again, I greet you with the peace and blessings of Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. So, I didn't know. I haven't been on the news or anything, so I didn't know what had taken place until Wazir came up. And let it be known, right, and I'm sure for most of you here, is that things of that nature, that they move the heart, right, and they move the soul, and it moves the ruh within me. It moves the spirit. It moves it within me. So it's taking a little bit of wind. Now, where wind moves, Allah replaces, right? Allah moves it because Allah is the one that's moving the ruh. So I'm pretty sure what I delivered to you today was not what I was going to deliver had that not been the case. I know that. I know, as I was sitting there and I changed things in a matter of 30 minutes. So that's the reality. That's Allah, right? Allah is the reality and Allah decides. But my task, and I would first like to thank those who are here in Houston, the M.A.L.I family, Imam Salim Woodman. My first attendance at M.A.L.I was last year, and it was good. I was appreciative then. And he stated that they were saying M.A.L.I didn't have enough women presenting, so they sought to make sure that was not the case, and they invited me out. And I remember many of the sisters and people that I met last year. This year when I saw them, because my name has been all over the place this past year, right? So this year when they saw me, they said, "You were very unassuming last year." We didn't know you. It was still the same me, right? If anything, it's the me has been developed in the same you, right? You are unassuming. Believe it or not, all of us are unassuming. Every single one of us has something within you that is rising to the top to deliver to everyone else. So I hope you would assume that I'm the same person I was last year as I am this year, right? If anything, I am better in my regard and my obedience to Allah. So I appreciate the invitation. I always love Houston. Houston is home. There, like I say, every time I come, there are people who, somebody thought I still lived here. I I was like, that you must have been to the masjid. Because when Adisa was here. So if I lived here, trust me, you would know I lived here. Wazir would make sure you knew I lived here. He gives directions to everybody who lives here. So alhamdulillah, I do. My native is Little Rock. That's where I am. That's where I reside. That is home. But Houston is home for me. I grew, and the relationships, and even the fact that you see me and where I am now, Houston was a humongous part of that development and continues to be. Okay, so even Imam Kazim, in helping to move my name and any other name and any other person who is seeking Allah's pleasure in teaching Quran, in teaching the good sound logic that Imam W.D. Muhammad was able to receive from Allah in giving Quran, that's what we do, right? That's the whole point of M.A.L.I. That's the whole point of the logic. That's the whole point of the thing in general, period. So that's why I'm here. So it's a good thing. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you giving me the task of ending the theme, which is Quran, the institution of highest education. When I read this, I mean, it's pretty clear, and I would say that most of you would not disagree. Everyone here would say, alhamdulillah, Quran is the highest institution of institution of highest education. And when I initially read it, I thought to myself, Quran, the highest education, and Quran, the institution of the highest education, are two different meanings. Quran, and you know that those who were moving in this thing, it was intentional. They established Quran not just as the highest form of education, but an institution. Quran is both the highest education inside of the institution of education, but it is also the institution. And then you ask yourself, what's the institute? So by definition, they would say an institution is an organization, establishment, foundation, society, or the like, devoted to the promotion of a particular cause or program, especially one of public, educational, or charitable character. So that would establish Quran as one, a foundation. And the Quran as a society that is giving something that is for all the people. You're right. Quran is definitely an institution. And it is the institution that educates at the highest level. So then you have to ask yourself, and you know this. This is when we say you ask yourself, and we're talking about this, you all know these things. We say these things. Now we have to live these things. If Quran is the highest institution and the highest education and the institution for the highest education, then what is Quran educating? What? We all know. That's not rhetorical. What is Quran educating? The human being. We know that Quran is here to educate the human being. We know that without doubt. And you say, why will the Quran be sent to educate the human being? See, everything else in creation does not have a free will. And I say everything else outside of, there's one other thing that has some free will. But it's still not the same as the free will of the human being. Because we know Allah says that He created the human being, and that everything, when He blew the ruh into the human being, that everything had to bow down. He instructed to bow down to Adam after He blew the ruh into Adam. And when that happened, all of creation then has to submit. And even Iblis, the jinn, was instructed to submit. Now, did it submit? No, because it had free will. But the free will of the jinn is still not the same as the free will of the human being, because the jinn then, when Muhammad was at his peak of understanding. This is Muhammad as the highest movement of human life and existence. Even the jinn had to do what? Submit. So this education that we're talking about of Quran is for you and I. It's not even for the jinn, because once we get it, the jinn comes under our rule too. Solomon had control of what? The jinn. So you ask, what is it about this human being and this free will that requires and that needs this thing of Quran to educate us? There is, if we look at it says in Surah 17 and 88, and I tell you, I'm already off from where I was. In 17 and 88 it says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل إن اجتمعت الإنس والجن على أن يأتوا بمثل هذا القرآن لا يأتون بمثله ولو كان بعضهم لبعض ظهيرا. It says, because we're talking about the idea that the human and the jinn both have free will, and that the human being still is a degree over the jinn in its ability to have free will, because it will then make the jinn submit. And then Allah tells us the magnitude of this Quran is that if mankind and jinn were gathered together to produce the like of this Quran, that even if they were each other, assisting each other, and in the Arabic it says, ba'duhum li ba'din zahira. If they were, it says, if they were backing each other up, is what it says. The zahir is the thing that is apparent and clear. And I'm going to read to you what Imam Muhammad says of the zahir. He says, zahir meaning back and apparent. He says, look at the wisdom here. If you accept my interpretation, the book says, the heavy load that weighs down their backs. The people who first heard that in their ears they were not advanced like we are industrially. They did not have Cadillac cars, Mercedes, motorcycles. They had animals riding around on donkeys, a horse or something like that, if they were fortunate to have that much money. Some of them had a lot of money. They had camels riding around on big camels. When an animal is carrying a load on his back, he hardly ever sees what is weighing him down, because his eyes are in the front. Now, if you can imagine a human being, and many of them still now walk from the market or farm carrying a big load on their back to take in the house to cook or whatever, and they don't see what is on their back. You don't have eyes in the back of your head. You don't see what is weighing you down, but you know because you picked it up. He says, I think black people picked up a load, but they forgot. It is still on their backs, but they don't see it. They can't see that load that is weighing down their backs. But also, this is addressing a subtlety, a psychology for holding and keeping dumb people in obedience to something that is oppressing their lives. This word back in Arabic means apparent. If we speak of things that have made themselves present and we can see them, we use the work that comes from the word back. That which is back is also behind you too. The back of a person is behind us, not in our eyes. So in that understanding, in Quran, Allah is saying here, even when the jinn and men, if they come together, and that the jinn now is submitting and they're supporting each other. This is the jinn now supporting and looking at the back of the human being, pulling off their weight, and the human being is looking at the back of the jinn, pulling off their weight. That even with all of that, Quran could not fully be understood. That you can't produce anything like it. Nothing. So it gives us a movement that there is no limits in Quran. And if the Quran, if we know, if a watchmaker made the watch and the engineer made this thing, then you